Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are doing good. You can see on the screen today we are going to talk about advertising. In this lecture, we'll talk about uh, a formal definition of advertisement or the process of advertising. We'll learn about different types of advertising, and with that we'll also learn what sort of functions advertising plays in our lives. So let's begin. This is the first slide for this lecture, and as you can see, here I have mentioned that an advertisement has 6 elements. So let's begin from what an advertisement is actually. In our today's life, I believe we all are surrounded with advertisements. It is one of the main components of mass communication, and we are flooded with advertisements in our daily lives. You see advertisements on TV, you get them on radio. You also find advertisements in print media, in newspapers and in magazines. If you're using internet, if you're using any social media website, advertisements, they pop up on your screen. They are, even you see small windows that are advertisements within your computer screen. Similarly, you may have found advertisements in the form of pamphlets or brochures. When you are commuting within the city, you may have seen advertisements on billboards and hoardings. So what I'm trying to say is that literally in our today's lives, in our contemporary context, we are surrounded by advertisements. So we all know what an advertisement is. Sometimes it happens there are concepts that, like, we have understanding in our minds what the process is or what the thing is, but sometimes we find it hard to put it in words. So it may be the case with the form of with advertising as well. So you can see here on the screen, I have mentioned 6 components that can help a person define what advertising is. I actually copied these 6 components here from a book that I have used to prepare this lecture. And when I shared my recorded lectures with you along with the PowerPoint presentation, I will also send you a PDF copy of the book chapter that I have used to prepare my lecture. And other than that, there are many books. I'm sure the college library has books, and you can find many other material on Google Scholar and many other sites that can help you define what advertising is. Let's begin. First component here, what you see is it is a paid form of communication. Advertising is a paid form of communication. First of all, it is a form of communication, and it is that form of communication which is paid, which means the advertiser, the person who is advertising, has to pay for his advertisement. So let's consider some examples. You see advertisements on TV when you are watching your favorite show or when you are watching news bulletin. So in that case, advertiser has paid for the time that he has bought from the TV. And in response, the television runs advertisement for, let's say, 30 seconds or for a minute, whatever time he has paid for, the advertiser has paid for. Similarly, in case of newspapers, if someone wants an advertisement to be published, in that case, again, they have to pay for that activity. So what I'm trying to say here is it is a paid form of communication for which advertiser has to pay. Let's move on to the second component here. It says it is a non-personal form of communication. Now, this means that advertising is a form of communication. I'm sure the screen is visible. I'm sorry, I forgot to enlarge the screen when I began, but I'm sure it is better. So it is, I was talking about the second component on the slide that says that advertising is a non-personal form of communication. I was saying that it means advertising is a form of communication that is not related to or responsive to a person, which means advertisement is intended, so it is always intended for a large number of audience. That is why we say it is a non-personal form of communication. Let's talk about the third point here. It says the sponsor is identified. It means that the person who is advertising, he is always identified. Now, I think I can explain it better with the help of an example. Think about a shampoo advertisement, or think about a diaper advertisement. Whenever that advertisement appears on your TV screen, you know what the company is or who is advertising. Let's say there is a famous company's name is Unilever, that makes a range of products. They make shampoos and they make diapers. Some, I think they make toothpaste as well. So whenever you see an advertisement while watching a news bulletin or TV, or watching a program, you can imagine who is this sponsor for the particular program that you are watching on TV. That is why we say the sponsor is identified in advertising activity. The fourth point here is it is a persuasive form of communication. Advertising always aims at persuading audience, which means uh, their um, their objective, their purpose is to influence people's actions. For example, if I use Zong cellular service and uh, and I see an advertisement related to Jazz cellular service or mobile link. Now that advertisement, its objective is to influence my choices, and that is what I mean. So advertisement always is a persuasive form of communication. They essentially aim at influencing people's actions. Fifth element here is it uses mass media. We have talked about this idea that advertisement is a non-personal communication, and uh, it always aims to reach a large number of audience, and in order to reach a large number of audience, it uses mass media tools. It uses mass media tools. The sixth and last point here is it reaches a large audience of potential consumers. Again, I think this is related to the non-personal communication element that we have already discussed at length. So advertisement is a form of activity that wants to reach a large number of potential consumers, possible consumers, you can say. Let's move on to the next slide. And here you can see I have put a definition, a formal definition of advertising, and it is based on the these six components that we have discussed in the last slide. So based on the six components that we have just discussed, we can say what advertising is. Advertising is a paid non-personal communication that comes from an identified sponsor. It uses mass media to persuade uh, or to influence audience. So that is the formal definition of advertising. I'm going to end this lecture here. In the second part of this lecture, we will talk about different types of advertising. Thank you.